Okay, the match in the Rugby World Cup we were all looking forward to, South Africa versus Ireland at the Stade de France in Paris. It's finished 13 points to 8 to Ireland, and missed kicks by South Africa. They've left 9 points on the field. That's proven the difference in this game. If they get those kicks, they win the game. Fine margins, fine margins. But this was an absolutely titanic struggle between two of the best teams, if not the two best teams in the world right now. South Africa, defending champions, obviously, they've had a really good build-up in results-wise, but they've got injuries in key positions. Ireland, Grand Slam winners in the Six Nations, fantastic build-up, but the line-out is an issue, and they've got injuries at hooker. So both sides are actually missing hookers. So ironically, the line-out proved to be a key battle area. At points, Ireland's line-out was all over the place. At other points, Africa's line-out misfired somewhat. The scrum, battle area, pretty even. Yes, South Africa had some dominant scrums. Ireland had some dominant scrums. Neither side could win. Basically, in the forward battle, it was brutal. Defence, brutal. Massive hits. Very few line breaks. When line breaks did happen, Bandiaki, for example, had a few. Dialende for South Africa, for example. Willemse is another South African player who had a few line breaks. But what it came down to was goal kicking. Goal kicking has divided these two sides, and that's where Ireland had the edge with Sexton and then Crowley coming off the bench. Libbok obviously was the starting goal kicker. Faf de Klerk takes over kicking duties. They had 3 kicks in the second half that they've missed. Potentially, should they have gone for the corner and gone for the line out and continued with that power battle in the forwards? Because they did go with a 7-1 split on the bench with 7 forwards and 1 back. That was debated and criticised by some in the build-up to the game. Ireland, issues with the line-out still, but there's a reason why these two are ranked 1 and 2 in the world. Literally, fine margins has defined this game and has divided the teams, and it's come down to goal kicking, where South Africa have left at least 9 points on the field. You could also count in there the missed conversions, so maybe 11 points on the field. Ireland, though, they've stood up to possibly the sternest test that they could have faced. Obviously, their hurdle is getting past the quarterfinals. If they get past the quarterfinals, I can't see Ireland losing this World Cup, personally. That's their issue, is getting past the quarterfinals. They've got to iron out issues in the line-out, however. They are missing a couple of choices at hooker. South Africa are missing a couple of choices at hooker as well. They've only got 1 specialist hooker in their squad. They decided to call up Andre Pollard to replace Malcolm Marx in their squad. It does raise the eyebrow out why Andre Pollard wasn't called into the starting lineup or onto the bench, just because of that goal-kicking aspect of his game and his kicking aspect of his game. But the game itself, I mean, we can talk about the Hansen try. That was fantastic. Yes, they've got the penalty advantage, but Ireland don't decide to do silly plays for nothing. They continue with their phase build-up. They suck the South African blitz defence in, and it makes it easier for Hansen to get over to score the try. He does hold his width very well, but they continue with their phase play, continue fighting fire with fire. That comes on 33 minutes. Now, Libbok has sliced a penalty on 6 minutes. So, basically, yeah, point scoring is at a premium in this game because defence is dominating. The breakdown was a 50-50 contest. I mean, if it had been a draw, I think that would have been a fair result, quite honestly. Now, the second half, South Africa start like a freight train, but it takes them 10 minutes with Cheslin Colby to get his try. And again, penalty advantage, winger holding the width. And the Irish blitz defence have gone in, and they've got a 3-man overlap. But Libbok's pass to create that try is fantastic. And Colby goes over, but they missed the conversion. And then Sexton and Crowley slot 2 penalties later on. But this was just, the way to describe this game was neither side could quite get that dominance. I think that in the crowd, the crowd was more favouring Ireland than South Africa. It felt like an Ireland home game at the Aviva. It was a fantastic atmosphere for the entire match. Very few French neutrals, I think, in the crowd for this one. Both sets of fans have travelled well to France. Atmosphere was fantastic, but the sheer battle on the field. But people need to remember, viewers, remember this. 4 years ago, South Africa lost in the pool stage to the world-ranked #1 team, New Zealand, and went on to win the World Cup. So there is that to remember. South Africa did lose a pool stage match 4 years ago against the world-ranked #1 team. In that case, it was New Zealand. In this case, it's Ireland. So don't rule South Africa out just because they've lost in a narrow defeat. The concern for South Africa is their goal kicking. I think Andre Pollard may get a run in the side now, or at least a run on the bench. I don't think they'll do the 7-1 split again. I think that was a mistake for this game. I think they possibly needed a few other options in the back line. Andre Pollard should have been and potentially could have been an option, but he's in the squad. I think they're going to use him now going forward. I can't see them not using him, and he can play at inside centre, so that gives them a little bit more flexibility there. Ireland, areas they need to improve are the line-out, and to a certain extent the scrum. They were found wanting in the scrum occasionally as well. They got shunted backwards a couple of times, but they held their own for the most part. But line-out's a concern for Ireland, simply because the amount of ball they lost off line-out was troubling. But this, as I say, this was a physical battle, absolutely physical battle. And on another day, South Africa win by a handful of points. These two sides are so evenly matched, but it was a fantastic, intense match to watch. You couldn't take your eyes off it. The intensity level was there from minute 1 to minute 80. And then right at the end with the collapse maul, looking at it, that ball was available, and the referee's, I think, blown the whistle soon there. You could argue, was it collapsed by Ireland in retreat? The ball is available. I think the referee's been a little bit quick on blowing up the whistle there. I also caught a bit of foul play with a deliberate stamp on Van der Vlier's hand by one of the South African replacement props earlier on in the second half, and the Irish players blew up at the referee, screaming at him, going, "You need to review that." And the TMO didn't review that as an act of foul play, which is very interesting. The TMO reviewing of foul play and yellow and red cards has been debated so far in this tournament from different points of view. So I think there's a miscall there for some foul play. I don't know which South African prop it was. It was one of the substitute props. There's a clear stamp on Van der Vlier's hand. Make of that what you will. There was some. When you see Eben Esterbeth picked up in a maul and actually carried by Ryan Lowe, that's you're not expecting Eben Esterbeth to be picked up off his feet and basically balanced on Ryan Lowe's shoulders, but that happened. But all in all, I think we've been here before with the Springboks. Do not underestimate them. But they haven't been free-flowing scoring tries against Tier 1 opposition. They were very similar against Scotland in that arm wrestle, physical battle as well. And again, goal kicking was a bit of an issue in that game. Romania was just an experimental match where they experimented with different combinations. You can't take much out of that, apart from some players got a run out, got some game time under their belts, got a bit more match ready. But this Ireland game, I think Ireland have watched the tape of the Scotland game, which is the best comparable you can get, done their homework on that blitz defence, because occasionally there were doglegs, and that was exposed with half breaks and getting the ball to Bandy Aki, for example, early to create space and create some momentum. But quite honestly, absolute physicality, 100%, brutality, and very... Well, the sides are very, very similar in how they set up to play. They try and stifle the breakdown while themselves having quick ball. I think South Africa did a pretty decent job at slowing down Irish ball as best they could, legally. The penalty count was roughly even. As I say, fantastic match to watch, and there we go. So, we've still got obviously more pool stage matches to go through, but that's the highlight match of the World Cup so far. I think that trumps anything that France and New Zealand did in the first game. That was the best game so far for intensity, brutality, physicality, and a sheer will to win. and neither side willing to back down. They were going right up until the final whistle. And on another day, South Africa get those kicks and they get the narrow win. On another day, it could have been a draw. So very fine margins defined these two teams today. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comments section below. I'll be really looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say in the comments section. And from me, for now, until tomorrow, it is goodbye from me. And I'll have some more content for you very, very soon.